WP an ordinary human turns on a light bulb. A series of unlikely coincidences escalates the consequences of this mundane action until they involve FEMA, the entire King's Guard in Buckingham, 2 plumbers in Australia, a dolphin in the Notajima Aquarium, and strangest of all, you. I flicked on the light bulb, and in the darkness of the bathroom was my cat retching a hairball into the loo. Her consideration was pleasant, but despite their natural adaptation for better night vision, the sudden switch to brightness made my sweet kitty leap back onto the shower curtains. Whoa, hey, Whiskers, come on down. SHH, it's okay. My attempts were futile to get the cat down, and Princess Possington could not be soothed of her suddenly incurred zoomies. Simply not. She sped up and over the toilet, onto the counter, clutching to walls and howling. In the mayhem, I knocked a cabinet door open to beneath the bathroom counter, which she promptly escaped into. It took a minute for me to really get her calmed down, where she strutted as if nothing had happened. Darn kitty, you all right, you okay? Petting her, I inspect the damage done. Bottles of cleaning supplies knocked around, but nothing spilling. All was well except for my sink. I sighed, knowing that my time to get anything fixed for PVC was short and I was unqualified, so I picked out the next best thing. Plus, my first mistake was turning on the light. My next mistake was Googling local plumbers. My VPN was still on at the time, as it set me up with a few numbers in the area it happened to be put in, including one from an Albany, which I assumed wasn't far from my Manhattan skyrise. Troy and Roy's down under plumbing services. The tagline, "Make the call, we have it all, mate," has really sold me on it in my desperation. The novelty didn't cross my mind as I made that call, thinking of accents I consistently heard as just the culture in their workplace. More than I knew at the time, Troy and Roy were from Albany like I'd been told, but not in New York like I was familiar with. No, in Australia. For whatever reason, these two took the job from where they were on emergency services with the Notajima Aquarium in Ishikawa Prefecture of Japan. As they finished packing up, the smartest dolphin in the world was on lookout. Smart enough to pretend to be a normal dolphin, it wanted freedom from the aquarium to travel the world. What better place than stowaway with Australian plumbers on their way to America? Overhearing the conversation over the phone, this porpoise with a purpose was set to see the Big Apple before traveling to Oceania on express flight for freedom in that bug blue sea. Plus, the plumbers came on a flight to LaGuardia, with unassuming dolphin in tow in a tanker of water they'd stored to their pickup truck from Notajima. It was a normal day, as normal could be for what must be the busiest airport in the US of A, but today was far more special. The king had come for whatever business the news had quickly been forgotten in the aftermath. These 2 plumbers, Troy and Roy, had taken their hats off in a deep respect for the king, as he happened to pass by where Troy forgot to roll up the windows to the truck and stepped outside. The distinct similarities between His Majesty and the older Roy became apparent to anyone noticing. As he stepped into a bathroom, the entirety of the King's Guard had gravely mistaken identities. New king, new face to remember, and all it happens. The limousine was ready just outside, and Roy was promptly ushered in. Troy saw this from the pickup truck waiting outside and didn't understand what was happening. In his panic to confront the limousine, the back dropped out after a truck bed's hatch handle hooked onto one of the quintessential plumber's overall armbands. The world's smartest dolphin, now put on the spot, was made to act fast. Act it did, and the resulting chemical distraction from solvents and cleaners in the bed of the truck was completely on accident in its failed escape. So close to the assumed king of the UK, it was immediately flagged. The swarm of the King's Guard piling in to protect Roy was intimidating enough, but the cover for Troy to fumble his way into the trunk was even better. 2 bad Troy's quintessential plumber's overall armband hooked onto the manual transmission of their truck, too. Directions were immediately given by Roy to my skyrise apartment, where the King's Guard assumed was the meeting place that he could be safe. Troy hid behind, and the once parked, now neutral transmission of the pickup truck led it to falter back until it hooked on the fender of the limo. Troy and Roy of the Australian plumbers population, the smartest dolphin in the world from Notajima Aquarium, the entirety of the King's Guard of Buckingham Palace, and a chemical smog trailing down streets of Manhattan behind them to have every FEMA operative in the city hauling ass to catch up to it all. Each was on the way to me for many more reasons between each other than one. Plus, and yeah, that's my story to tell. I sat there in cuffs, restraints, and a detail of agents, speaking right to the director of the bureau and the head of MI6. This is only the start to the story of how I narrowly evaded execution for treason in 2 countries.